Welcome to the Wellbeing at Work podcast, where we help you optimize all aspects of well-being in the workplace. Welcome back to another episode of Wellbeing at Work podcast. Today, we are joined with our hosts, Cody Crockett, LV Thompson Jr., and Matthew Coman. And today, we're going to be talking about physical well-being, what it is, and why it matters. I'm going to first toss it to LV. LV, what is physical well-being to you? Why is physical well-being important to you?
Absolutely. So simply stated, physical well-being is having the energy and vitality to live your life, to do the work that you need to do. There's many aspects that make up physical well-being, and some of the major ones that pop up top of mind are your sleep, your movement, your nutrition, your hydration, your ability to rest and recover. But ultimately, all of those things encapsulate physical well-being, and there are many, many, many ways to optimize it. Matt, I want to shoot it over to you. I'm curious, what would you say is the best way for an individual to maximize their physical well-being?
Yeah, easy call. First tip would be sleep. I think it's often overlooked. It's a big topic in our health industry. I think everybody gets to understand that is the time where your body recovers. And to be able to physically perform, given the definition that Alva you gave, sleep and being actually recovered is vital in that, in being able to utilize your energy for leading your team, for accomplishing tasks, for staying focused, for really having energy throughout the day. Cody, I'd love to hear in your clinical experience, along the sleep note, how you've seen performance levels rise or increase or decrease dependent on people's levels of sleep.
Yeah, Matt, it's a great question. And I love that you first named sleep as this really core component of beginning with our physical well-being, because so many of us are lacking sleep. In the clinic, I see it firsthand in the people that I work with day to day and see how their sleep suffers and how that can then impact not just their physical well-being, but then they're more emotionally reactive, or they may be stuck in thought loops that don't serve them. Our sleep really has this great impact on not just our physical well-being, but also our mental well-being, our emotional well-being. So sleep is really important. Even look at myself and how sleep impacts me. If I'm lacking sleep, for me, my number is 7.5 hours of sleep. If I'm under that number, then I can notice that I'm more emotionally reactive, that I feel more fatigued, that I tend to gravitate towards choosing foods that may not be the best quality food. So just by having less sleep or getting less sleep, that then subjects me to making poor choices, and then I don't perform at the highest level. And if we're talking about physical well-being and how we want to have physical well-being within ourselves, well, it's important to recognize that in order for us to show up at the highest level, we want to be filling our cup up physically. So to be sure that we are taking care of ourselves physically, so that when we have our physical cup full and it's overflowing into others' cups, they can see that by me leading by example and filling myself up, others are more apt to fill their own cup up and take actions that are going to help them to be more physically well. So I know that's a long answer to your question there, Matt, but sleep is just truly so important. Sleep is just one aspect of this physical well-being. And I would ask, with the next step, what would be the next step that you would look for outside of sleep? What would be the next priority of physical well-being that we want to look at? What would you say, Matthew?
Yeah, I would say we get to then assess the level of movement that a given person is doing. Oftentimes, we've seen in the industry, a lot of people overdo it. They think that going to the gym on top of a really busy workday is going to actually benefit all the time their physical well-being. But I think gaining a deeper understanding of types of movement and how to move, let alone frequency of movement, in coordination with their entire life schedule, their work schedule, and how much output they're doing on a given day, it's really important to understand that oftentimes people overwork themselves which obviously has an impact on their physical well-being. So movement would be the second thing that I would say. And I'll pass that same question over to Alvi when we're thinking about aspects of physical well-being. And I think we're all aligned that sleep is probably the most overlooked and probably the most important factor when it comes to physical well-being. I stated movement as number 2. Alvi, what can you add to this?
Absolutely. So there's definitely a third one that I want to add to it. But before I do, I would love to touch on the movement aspect as well, because in your example, Matt, there are so many people who are, we'll call it overstressed, to where in your example, they're trying to add in more stress by getting a workout, typically a strenuous workout, on top of their stressful day. And on the opposite end of the spectrum, there's also some of you out there who may not be getting enough movement in, period. Where, you go to work, you sit down in the office all day, and then you go home and you may sit down more. And what ends up happening is if you're not getting enough good movement in, whether that is simply walking around your neighborhood, walking around the office, or getting some stretching in, some yoga, but if you're not getting enough movement in overall, that's also going to have a negative impact. So something that's really important for you to do as an individual is, one, look at your stress levels. If you're extremely stressed, and depending on how your lifestyle is, you're going to need some yin type of movement, which is just more relaxing movement, a walk, or it could be stretching. And then on the opposite end of that, when you do have enough rest and recovery in, and you are managing your stress, like Matt was saying, then that can be the opportunity to get a tougher workout in. So it's really important for you as an individual to know where you're at. The third and last point I would like to throw in when we talk about physical well-being and how to optimize it and why it's important is your nutrition, right? It's what are you putting into your body? Because at the end of the day, the types of vitamins and minerals that you're putting into your body is going to dictate what you get out of it. So again, if you get good sleep, you can wake up earlier in the morning. And if you're a breakfast person, you can get good quality food into your body that's going to allow your brain to operate at the highest level. It's going to give you the physical and the mental energy to go get things done. Unfortunately, it's too often that all of us have seen at Opti how an individual will literally skip meals, and then within skipping that meal, not get any type of nutrition, no vitamins, no minerals, no quality proteins and fats and carbohydrates that are going to actually fuel them to do the task. So it's really important to know that this combination of sleep, proper movement, and proper nutrition is going to go a long way in ensuring that your physical well-being is at a high level. And again, when we talk about physical well-being, it's your ability to have the energy to do the work that you need to do day in and day out at a high level.
Yeah, I was just going to say, to take that a step further, I like that number 3 you named as nutrition, because nutrition is literally the food that we eat becomes our body. It literally, the physical components that we put in our mouth, chew up and swallow becomes our physical body. So if we want to build a physical body that's fit, that feels good, that is capable to perform all the tasks at hand, well, if we're looking to optimize this physical well-being, then we want to optimize our nutrition so that we can build an optimal body. And to take it a step further, it's not just the physical structure here, but our nutrition impacts the way that we think and impacts the way that we feel. So if we want to optimize our performance at a high level and how well we feel physically, it's important for us to understand that nutrition is a really important component of this. So it's more than just eating food to take away the hunger. It's more than just eating food because it's there. It's more about being aware of how different foods make us feel and how that impacts our ability to show up and perform our daily activities at home, at work, and in the community. Nutrition is such a very important aspect of this, dare I say, the triad of physical well-being, of optimizing our sleep, our movement, and our nutrition. It's a very powerful aspect of physical well-being.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And I think something that we would be remiss not to mention is that this is what we work with our customers on, It's how do you optimize these things? And through our workshops and through the micro e-learning content that we've put together, we've actually focused heavily on all three of those aspects of physical well-being, because it's not just enough to know what to do. So many people know what to do, right? But not enough people are applying it. So something that we would recommend at Opti is that, one, become aware of your sleep patterns. Become aware of your movement patterns, become aware of your nutrition habits, and see how all of those things are allowing you to have better or worse physical well-being in your day-to-day life.
All right, guys. So thanks for listening to this episode. We really hit the core components of physical well-being, being your sleep, being your movement, and being your nutrition. So optimizing these three aspects of physical well-being is going to help take your performance, your health to the next level. If you enjoyed this episode, please give us a review. Tell your friends, tell your family, share this with somebody you know can benefit from leveling up their physical well-being at home, in the workplace, and in life as a whole. We'll see you in the next episode, where we're going to dive deep into more juicy topics on optimizing your health and well-being. If you found this podcast valuable, we invite you to check out our free checklist, the 5 action items to optimize your workplace today. You can grab yours over at www.optiwellbeing.com. That's OPTI wellbeing.com. Get yours now, and we'll see you there.